Prologue. Chains of fate, wings of vengeance. I rode through screams made solid, steel biting marrow, war drums pounding like the heartbeat of a dying god. My spectral mount's hooves struck sparks from stones that had forgotten sunlight, the wild hunt's howls threading through smoke as we carved paths through mortal flesh. The air tasted of burnt amber and split veins. Hold the western flank. The command left my lips as cold ritual, my voice a blade honed by centuries of leading this ceaseless dance. The riders streamed past in silence, their tattered cloaks swallowing the light, blades gleaming like frost on a grave. Their loyalty required no oath. It lived in the way their shadows merged with mine, 100 extensions of my will. But beneath the helm, my skull throbbed with a different rhythm. Her fingers tracing the scar beneath my collarbone, a mortal wound from a time before vows. "You wear your history like armor," Rania had murmured, midnight curls brushing my chest as the Everwood sighed around us. "What happens when it becomes your cage?" A spear glanced off my pauldron, ripping me back to the now. A mortal soldier, barely more than a boy, stumbled from the impact, his eyes widening as he recognized the sigils writhing on my breastplate. The dreadfrost blade in my grip hesitated for a heartbeat, too long, too human, before plunging into his throat. His blood steamed where it touched the relic metal, tendrils of crimson curling upward like offerings. Shadows congealed to my left. 3 Fey knights fell in a spray of ichor, their elegant armor sundered by crude iron axes. Mortals. Clever, desperate roaches. They'd torn a fissure in our lines near the shattered monolith where the realms bled together. My gauntlet clenched as I felt the breach's echo in the hunt's collective snarl, a wrongness, a tilt in the scales, and then the scent of jasmine cutting through the copper stench. She moved like the punchline to a joke only the fates dared tell, a mortal woman in patched brigandine, black braids whipping as she drove a dagger into the gap between a rider's helm and gorget. Her strike precise, surgical, a killer's grace. Rania spun away from my grasp beneath the hollow moon, laughter spilling as she vanished into the thorns. "Catch me, Lord of Hounds. Let's see if your hunt remembers how to play." The memory struck like a crossbow bolt. I urged my steed forward, dreadfrost blade cleaving through a pike wall. Mortals scattered, their formations crumbling as the riders fell upon them. But she stood her ground, boots planted in the muck, a short sword in each hand. "Fall back!" The cry tore from me, raw as a fresh wound. She couldn't hear, wouldn't hear. The din of clashing steel swallowed words, and Rania, stubborn, wildfire Rania, was already pivoting to gut a ferry charger. Its rider tumbled, helm rolling to reveal eyes like drowned stars. She brought her sword down. Pride and panic warred in my throat. She fought with the ruthless elegance of someone who'd learned violence not as pageantry, but survival. Every parry, every pivot spoke of back alleys and betrayal. Beautiful, terrifying. A moth dancing through a wildfire. A horn shattered the sky, deep, guttural, wrong. The mortal ranks shuddered as their shamans unleashed their own chaos, jagged bolts of green flame that screeched through the riders, binding spectral forms into corporeality. A trap. "Scatter formation," I barked, but the hunt's response lagged, weighed by the searing light. My mount reared as a firebolt grazed its neck, the scent of scorched ether stinging my nostrils. Through the haze I saw Rania falter. A rider's glaive grazed her thigh as she overextended. Red bloomed against leather. Her lips shaped a curse I felt in my bones. The world narrowed. "To me," I roared, rallying the nearest riders with a slash toward the shaman's position. They streamed after me, a shiver of shadows in the cursed light. Let the mortals call their victory. Let them think they'd broken us. All that mattered was the knife's-edge path clearing between me and the woman who'd once kissed promises into my skin beneath a different sort of storm.